You are live. Hey, you guys. Mistaken is back. Is back. Is back. Mistaken is back. Is back. Welcome back, Mistaken. AP HD will be joining us once he gets out of those streets, and so will Marcus if he gets up in time. My
Mm.
name is Shan Monet, and this is a Chic critique. Oh, mistaken. You are kind of dark. Just a tad. Just a tad. You like a pineapple today.
Who lives in a pineapple under the?
Sweet enough to eat.
I want a
Oh dear God!
I want a pineapple right now too. Oh, pineapple sounds so good right now. Oh
Nah, I
my.
was eating watermelon earlier, so I'm good.
Oh yes. I just want something watery in my mouth. Just
I'm on my way to Atlanta.
I know. I was going to say something inappropriate. Um, no. AP did do that. So today's conversation is love blind? Is love blind? Yeah, y'all ever been to those like Roscoe, those poetry sessions? And they be like, is love blind? Can you see? Can you feel the love tonight? I'm trying to waste time to HD and somebody go. Can you feel it in the air? We got Sugar Shack TV up in here. Oh god.
Wow, you really took it back. I'm feeling the Love Jones vibe going on. Oh yeah.
Those were dope, though. I can't even lie. Those were dope, like, especially date nights. Those were dope.
It's the feeling of love everywhere. I can only imagine it was probably a lot of places like that in New York, Tara, right, growing up.
It was. I went to one, and me and my girlfriend, would never forget. It was one, and it was, you
I
know,
thought you never forget.
it was no. I'm trying to find the right words to say it to not like with all of these labels and or whatever. But it was one of the performers was a lady, but she looked more, what do you call it? Back in my day, I don't know what they call them now, like butch.
Oh, hard. A little
And
masculine.
okay, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying not to be offensive, but
I
she had
think butch is a real word. Like I think they say
it
that
is. Oh,
themselves.
okay. And she did a poem,
It
and
was
it was
good.
crazy. Yeah, it was called cucumber. But he was, she
Don't
said something
don't
like,
talk about what the cucumber
no,
is.
no, listen. It was like what
Mm-mm.
she was saying. She was like, cucumber.
Oh, we got him in the
I was like,
house.
oh, okay.
Y'all gonna make me go get my notebook. I got some things written down, and I'm not good with coming off the dome. I'm not Tupac, but I can flow some poetry a little bit. But I don't say things like this with L.
It don't sound. It ain't. It's
Love.
not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not giving. AV.
Yeah, see, not my thing, but I do some poetry. I'm just not gonna do it right now. That's I'm gonna leave it alone. Leave it alone, cause I can't even top the cucumber. So it pause.
That joint was
I'm
good.
obviously not topping cucumbers. So pause. But no, I dug poetry back in the day, and as you get older, you really begin to appreciate it. Kind of like jazz. The older you get, it's just certain things you really learn to truly enjoy. Uh, and I wish I had had a grasp of it when I was younger. When you're teenagers, everything is moving so fast in your life, and jazz is that mellow, chill, smooth kind of vibe, and poetry has that same feel when you with a chick. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't quite get it, but I get it now.
Yeah, your taste buds change
Come on
as
up,
you get
Pink. Since you
older.
in the since you at the basement tonight, come on up.
Oh,
Oh
one of the
Lord,
things that I was
he
gonna
he
say
he ain't
too.
talking shit.
No, he's not. Is I don't know what Sugar Shack talk about though. But one of the things that I could was thinking about, like we were just talking about, how like back in the day, going to like those poetry places was nice for a date. So again, you know how this debate keep going back and forth about girls talking about don't take me on a coffee date, blah blah blah. Would that would do you think it's more about how, and I'm speaking from the girl side, do you think when these girls are talking, what they're focused on in terms of a date is how much the guy spends on them or the quality of the date? Because I'm thinking about like going to like a poetry thing, like things that you can do that may not necessarily cost a lot of money, but it's still something that would be considered a good date. Would that be an issue too, you think?
I think that when people say go on a coffee date, they mean, oh, meet me at Starbucks.
Hmm.
And it could be very well that those are the coffee shops that are in their town. But we live in major cities where coffee shops can be very nice. The ambiance is nice. They sell different things besides just coffee. You know, Obviously it's not going to be an expensive place, but the ambiance is giving nice. It's
Hmm.
not like just Dunkin' Donuts.
Hmm.
So you can be creative at a coffee shop. It doesn't have to be like the coffee shop across the street is like a nice coffee shop. I've been to coffee shops. They have like the little plugins. People are there for business. They're very ups. And I've been to coffee shops where the ambiance, like they have candles, it's lit, it's like dim. They got like music flowing. So there are different types of coffee shops, right? Um, this is my thing on coffee shops. Can I give it to y'all real fast?
Hmm.
No, take your time, baby. Take your
Use
time.
coffee shops. If you meet a man online and you have never met this man in real life. So you guys don't even know if you're attracted to each other. Because you're taking out the initial meet, meaning if I met you in a grocery store, I've met you before, right? So I know if I'm attracted to you. Since you don't have that interaction, I say meet at a coffee shop. Coffee shop is short, sweet. Imagine being with somebody and have to sit through dinner with them and you don't like them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you sit here thinking, like, what's on TV tonight? Like, why would you want to even do that to that person anyway? If there's no connection, why would I even want to go on this extravagant date with you, make you spend all of this money when there it's just not a it's not a we're not attracted to each other. It shouldn't even get to that point. It's just the initial I'm meeting up with you. I've never met you in real time, or I've never met you offline. So I'm just trying to see you, and then we were like, okay, let's have a date or something. I don't see what's wrong with that. Why you have to go straight into this dinner date? And I feel like this, just ladies, you should be picky about your nights. Like night is like should be. I just feel like if you're going out with strangers late at night and you don't even know this dude like that, like it's just. I think the women today are
From
doing.
what I was hearing,
What?
that like, oh, go ahead, AP.
Let me finish
No,
saying. I think the women today are doing way too much. It's all about what he's spending. Like, if you're trying to meet somebody, you're really trying to get to know somebody. Why does that even matter? You can go to an inexpensive restaurant that looks nice if it's all about just the ambiance. So go ahead, AP.
so I think that first to touch on what you were saying for just a second, Shan, and more or less the end of it. I think women oftentimes put money, so their value of men is how much is in a man's bank account and not what's in a guy's mind, not what direction he wants to take the relationship. So I think women miss the mark on that, which is why there's so much, in my opinion, singleness in here in Western countries. Now, to answer mistaken, I think people misdefine what intimacy actually is. An intimate setting is a setting to where I can actually get to know you. There's minimal distraction, and we can get to know each other on a more personal level. And that's what a coffee shop can do. Um, and I think that's where the mark is missed. So they say, uh, like the one girl that was on the Sunday show almost a year ago, I guess, that refused to go on a coffee date and was talking about going to 3-star Michelin or 5-star restaurants. Um, what she doesn't understand is if a man really wants to get to know her, that's not where he's going to take her. If a man really wants to get to know you, he's going to take you somewhere quite a bit more intimate. If he wants to bed you, he might take you to one of those spots. And basically, you just put the cost of your box out there. That's what it's going to cost to get that box, because that is the expectation when a man takes you to a spot like that.
Mhm.
But if you're really looking to get in a real relationship and you're really looking to grow with a man, you want to get to know that man. If you truly want to know if it's a proper time investment, those small intimate dates, those quick ones, especially at the beginning, so you can know if it's a waste of time. To your point, Shan, go get go to a wine bar, go to a coffee bar, go to a poetry reading. Those are things that allow you the opportunity and the space to have dialogue without interruption. And that's where you can truly have those intimate settings to know somebody. What's up, HD?
Yeah. See, I saw a girl on IG, like, was it yesterday or something, trying to explain, like, she was saying, I know people are gonna get upset because I'm gonna say this, but ladies, do not let a man take you on no coffee date, trying to give this advice, and was talking about how, if a guy was to go out with his celebrity crush, would he be taking his celebrity crush on a coffee date? And so her thing was trying to compare herself to that, like saying, I am supposed to be the girl of your dreams, so to speak. That's why you're interested. I might be the girl of your dreams. So why wouldn't you treat me at that same level or have that same level of expectation when you're planning something for us to do? Just going on a coffee date is something that is low level planning, da da da. But to me, going on a dinner date, to me, is just the same as a coffee date. That's low level planning too. I think I would be way more impressed with a guy who's going to do something that's out of the norm. So dinner dates, coffee dates to me are not something that you put a lot of effort in thinking about doing, but doing something that is totally different. Like Shan, I think one time you had explained that one of your date, I mean, you knew the guy, beforehand, but just based on your conversations, y'all, you had said you love getting massages. And so one of the dates was the fact that he got you set up with a
His and her
masseuse,
massage.
right? A masseuse. So something like that
That's
is so
expensive
much.
though.
Yeah, no, but I'm not saying in terms of the cost. I'm talking about in terms of the thought. Like
Yeah,
y'all
that's
had
helpful.
yeah, like y'all had conversation, and he went off of saying, "Oh,
He
this is
did.
something that she would
It was a
like."
winner. Oh, it
Right,
was a winner.
and
That was my favorite date.
right,
That wasn't your first date though, was it?
That was my first date with him.
Oh, he a fool.
but so for me, what I'm saying is not so much more the money aspect, is more so of the thoughtfulness aspect, the quality of the date. Even if it was a picnic, but we went to somewhere where there was waterfalls and like the scene was set. Something that you're going to take time to think about, to plan out. You've listened based on conversation that we
See,
had
see,
previously.
I see that would be a miss for me. And let me
Mm,
tell you why that would be a miss for me. So the his or her massage, that ain't no miss, because honey, I don't even see you no more. I just feel these hands. Um,
Why he a
we're
fool?
talking about things of romance, like romantic things, and I've never met you before, and then I see you, and I'm not even getting that, and we going on a romantic walk. I don't even want to be there no more. Like I'm checked out. Like it's beautiful,
mm-hmm.
but and I'll be thankful for even get you give me this experience. But I think that I would advise men to save that for a woman who they know is has already had that initial contact, and they're excited. They've been talking and they're excited, and then go to that date, maybe the second one.
Mm, mm.
Yeah,
I
if
guess
I had to vote,
the woman that you with, right? Or that you're trying to get to know based on conversation, I guess that would lead you to determine what kind of date you're gonna have. Because coffee wouldn't do it for me. Not because it's just because I'm not a coffee person.
Well, coffee shops don't just sell coffee, right? It's just called a coffee shop.
Mm,
It's more in the when your body is better. I'm going to take you to a coffee shop so you can see that they sell more than coffee. It's just called a coffee shop because there is coffee there, but they have
uh-huh.
other things there. It's not just coffee.
Okay.
well, if I had to vote, I would say, and this is just my opinion, going to the movies, going
Not
out to
even that.
eat, going to coffee. I think that these aren't quality dates, right? These are fillers, because whether you go to the movies or you go to a restaurant, everything that you're doing, everybody else is doing for you, and you're just partaking in the food or you're partaking in the movie. Now, granted, you can talk about these things after the fact, and that what's helped builds the intimacy in a relationship. But my big thing is I'm always trying to do something physical, something that you actually have to get involved in. So whether it's going bowling or playing basketball or something, I want you to have to
Axe
think.
throwing.
Yeah, I want you to have to think. I want you to have to move. I want you to be invested in what it is that you're doing. Now, granted, I agree with you guys as far as the low investment and kind of get the vibes before you try to
The
make large
initial
investments,
contact. That's what I mean by that. The initial
right?
contact is really short, quick, and you set up. If you guys mutually like each other, then you set up a real date. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah. So I agree. I mean, to me, that's wise. Um, but sometimes I think, when it comes to getting to know a person, you can't be like super duper logical, right? Because there need to be some level of like outside of logic when you're trying to get to know, especially when you're trying to get to know women, because it's just like if I just do everything logic based, right? I might take some of the flexibility and the vulnerability of trying to truly experience you and you experiencing me. So that's why I always go for something physical like pool or bowling, or if we're going out to eat, I'm trying to do the best that I can to pick your brain, see how you receive information and stuff like that. Because in essence, if I've been talking to you for a while, whether in person or on the phone or this and the third, I'm already picking and prodding and figuring out what kind of stuff is going on. So I do take pride in doing that because, you know, I realize that whether relationships work out or not, I don't want to be an example of more pee in the pool. I want to provide a positive experience so that even if we don't go nowhere or even if nothing happens, I don't want this to be like a sour taste that literally all guys want to do is just bite you, chew you up, and just spit you out. Like I want to listen to you because like y'all probably would say, every person that you meet isn't necessarily something that should be long term, but that don't mean that this isn't a viable connection and that you can actually talk to this person and actually learn something and then go on about your business if that's what you choose. Um, so I tend to really take my time, and I do listen to you ladies, even though I give you a lot of pushback, especially you, mistaken. You be my mortal enemy, and I don't be wanting you to win. But but I have to admit that some of the things that you guys have said, it has stuck in me a little bit. So I am trying to be a lot more careful about my interactions, you know.
I think too the other thing too is I would love this challenge. Like if they could start a challenge on IG for men. Like I don't know how many women would be down with the way they're speaking about, oh, my dates have to be, going on a date is minimum $400. I've never look, I've been married 20 years and I haven't been on a $400 date. You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
be
Like
damn.
that's crazy to me. Um, but like a $50 challenge, like how creative can you be in planning a date and not spend no more than $50? And I think that would be a dope challenge because it forces you to be, creative. You know what I mean? Even from what I hear, like going to Starbucks, you can easily spend, $50 with how much their, stuff be costing. But like a challenge like that to see how thoughtful you can be. You know what I'm saying? Like what things would how creative you can be with planning a date where you guys can, like you said, be intimate, have fun. Because yeah, and then also I think it puts a woman in a position too. Like if I was a dude, I'm not spending no $400 on you and I don't even know you. I'm just
I'm a
not.
dude and I ain't spending four hundred
Yeah,
dollars on
that's
you.
just
Fuck
crazy
kidding
to
me?
me to even have that expectation. I know there are some women out there that be like, "Oh, just because that's not your standard, you can't." Okay, that's cool. We have different standards, but at the end of the day, if I was the guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to know you to see if I even want to be at a level that I want to spend $400 on you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming out the gate with that. So I definitely think the first date should not be a date where it is all stops, where you're spending all of this kind of money. Um, but I also think the date needs to be, if I was a guy, which I'm not, so I don't think like y'all do, but in my female brain, I would, based on conversations that we have. So if I'm having thoughtful conversations, I'm asking the questions to really see ahead of time, like, are we in alignment? Like, what kind of date can I plan so I could see if she's the person that she says she is? How does she respond if she don't get her way? So she don't like coffee dates or what have you. So I want to be mindful between, okay, why wouldn't you go on a coffee date? And if her thing is, well, I just think it's a thoughtless, planning, I'm not into coffee or whatever, asking those thought provoking questions to see what the underlying rationale behind that is, and then plan a date based off of that, but still not necessarily take her to, like you said, a 3-star Michelin restaurant or whatever. I don't even know the numbers. But still not take her to that. You know what I'm saying? How does she respond going to do something that she's never done before? You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? So rock climbing might not be her thing. And I'm not saying do a rock climbing, but doing something else that may be out of the norm, but also gives you the opportunity to see how she responds to things when she doesn't necessarily get her way. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I
Yeah,
would like to know those things as a dude because that's going to show me from jump, like, okay, she don't get her way. Is she going to be a brat? She gonna be disrespectful, like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean that's just my logical way that I'm thinking as a female, because there are times that in a relationship you're not gonna get your way.
so
So
so what I want to say real quick to that, for guys that are wanting more than just sex, that's exactly what they all do. We listen we have the conversations to figure out as much as we can about you, and then base the next decision based off of what using the information that we know. So before that first date, if you're dialoguing right, I already know that you don't drink coffee. So I'm not going to take you to a coffee shop. But I also know that you might like tennis. Well, I suck at tennis, but I'll go do it to figure out how competitive you are. I say that because I've actually done that before. So those are things that we already do if we're trying to get more than just sex. Now, if the goal is to come out and get sex, in most cases we do what we got to do, say what we got to say to get it. But guys that are not moving on that kind of time, what you said is precisely what we do. What's up, Marcus?
What's goodies, y'all? How y'all feeling?
Hey,
Finally woke
Mr.
up,
White.
huh? I know you see me phone making them phone calls.
Do you notice I don't got no glasses on? My glasses, the nose little nostril piece broke. I had to find some contacts. I was
Oh
around the house
dang.
looking like Ray Charles, just trying to feel my way into a box of contacts.
Shannon, I saw your
Georgia,
I did mine online. So
Georgia.
you had a so we had a you had an opportunity to do the Zoom. You can do Zoom online, so I decided to do that because I did regionals.
Yeah, I feel like I ain't seen you guys in a long time. Happy to see you guys.
Yeah, I
Yes,
miss
sir.
you guys. So
Yes.
based on AP, what we were talking about earlier, right? In conversation.
And we're gonna wrap this up so we can go to the topics because
Okay.
I gotta take care of
If
people.
I was a chick and we had previous conversation and I was like, yeah, I like, trying new things. Like how I was saying, I'll try most things at least once, right? If I'm having conversation with you, what kind of date do you think you would plan based off of that information?
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start somewhere right around 11 o'clock and we're going to go to the aquarium. I'm already going to have lunch planned for after the aquarium so that we can actually sit down and have a bite to eat, probably somewhere quick. Since I don't really do fast food, it probably would be probably like a little Mexican spot. I would ask you if you like Mexican, like I would have found that out already. And we would sit down and then dialogue. But here's what's awesome about AP. You are loving AP at this point since you went to the aquarium. You didn't really see that coming. You were like, "Yo, that dialogue was dope. I want to talk to you more." So my goal is to expand that one date because I've already adjusted my time to plan to hopefully get that whole day to be a date and an experience. So what's gonna happen is while we're eating, I'm gonna say something like, "Yo, what you got planned up?" I got if I planned it right. Hey, yo, they got this musical tonight at the Bojangles Arena. I got 2 tickets. I was hoping that all of this went well. You want to rock with me? And then you would say yay or nay to that. I'm since I already know I'm dope. I know you're gonna say yes because I've already put in the time. I've already put in the time. That's the whole deal. I've already put in the time. So you're gonna say yes. And be like, all right, bet. Look, here's what's gonna happen. You go ahead and go to the house. We can meet at Bojangles, but I'd prefer to pick you up and we can go to the Bojangles Arena, and then I'll drop you back off at home. But whatever you want to do, and I leave
Yeah.
that up to the woman because the goal is to make sure she still feels safe and comfortable.
See,
But
yeah.
once we get through with the musical, I already know that everything was already super dope. That little kitten is already purring, and I already know what's going on. I said what I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I take you to the aquarium. I literally would go to an aquarium with you just to see your face and how you react to the aquarium.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
like short dates.
Mr. White and HD, what do y'all think? If a girl said, I'm adventurous, I like to try anything at least once for the most part, what do you think your first date would be?
And can we make it fast? Because that's not even the topic. Like
I
we said,
know. I'm just curious to see how guys
First of
think.
all, sometimes women be lying. They be like, "Oh, I'm adventurous and da 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 and all this other stuff." Y'all don't be doing nothing for real. So I'd be like, "Oh, that's great," Then I'm just gonna do what I normally do, and I hear you talking all this adventure and all this other stuff. Hey, we're going to the bowling alley, or we're going to play pool, or we're going out to eat. We are going to have a good time, no matter what we do.
Sushi, gun range, and the block. Okay.
Sushi gun range.
Now, see, I would like the gun
That's a
range.
good call, Marcus.
Yeah,
Ending at
the
the
gun
block,
range is good. Yeah.
ending at the
What's the
block.
block?
That's dope.
What's
What's
the
the
That
block?
block?
that's your spot. That's outside, sitting on the stoop, getting to know your folks, letting your folks
Oh,
get to see you. It's dope. That's dope.
The block block.
I would prefer if you take
Sometimes
me
be
to the
silly.
driving range so I can hit a little, hit a little,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm about having fun
hit
on
some
my end.
balls.
I'm really bored. Yeah.
It's fireball, crush, stack the balls, about the
Hit
fire.
them balls. That's what I want to do.
All right, go ahead, Shan.
Okay, so tonight's show is you guys. We're not gonna be here all night because I gotta wake up in the morning to get a test. Sorry, I was eating my peach ever so it was just good. I just couldn't let it go, but I apologize. Um, Tonight is Love Blind. Do you guys think? Well, we'll let the video. Um, we'll play the videos. I was gonna ask the question beforehand, but we'll play the videos. Do, 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 do. If I can find them. Y'all think love is blind? Should it be blind?
I think you and Marcus are blind.
I'm definitely blind. For real, for real. Y'all, I'll be facing forward. You can't really see how they're
First
like
thing,
If I'm 5'7", right, and I'm 5'8", I'm 5'9", I'm less desirable. Okay,
Two,
to women
no,
in
to
America.
who? I know plenty of 5'7" guys that are in relationships that make less than six
I actually
figures.
know a few too.
So to the women I want,
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
doesn't change anything.
It does. It changes a lot.
Why does it change anything?
Because that's what I'm saying. This is the buffer part where you will be 5'7". You'll be like, I'm not desirable to women here in America. That sounds much different than, hey, the women that I want, bro, they don't want me.
Mm.
that was the wrong video, but it's okay. Uh, my
I
bad.
mean,
But we'll talk about this one. What are you guys' thoughts on that video?
I think it's interesting because you are people have their own bias and preferences. No matter if they like you or not, whether they're gonna filter what they want in a perfect conversation, right? But in reality, when you see something, you kind of filter what you're seeing and you make judgments based upon what you're seeing. So initially, a woman might be like, well, I don't like short guys, right? But you might make her laugh, or you might look a certain type of way, or they might see something about you that might pique their interest. So initially, they have a standard of what they think they want. And then this thing comes along and it's not necessarily what they thought that they want, but now they're intrigued to, go further. I think there is one thing to know, that if you listen to people, what they're saying is true. They have a preference of what they think they really want, and they might actually want that. But I also think that um it's okay to acknowledge that people have these preferences, but that also people will get off of those preferences if they like what you offer. Like if you're 5'9" and she wants 6 foot, but your personality and what you offer allows her to forget that you're not 6 foot and that she just enjoys being around you, that's the only way that you're going to be able to win. But I've learned recently that don't focus on the people that don't want you. Focus on the people that do want you. And if you have people that want you that you don't want, like figure out if you're okay with that, or B, go try to find the people that want you.
I absolutely agree with. I absolutely. You remember? I remember at a time before the internet, people would just want somebody taller than them. It wasn't like he has to be 6 feet, because there are a lot of girls who are like 5'2", 5'3". They weren't necessarily looking for somebody who was 6 feet. They just wanted a guy who was taller than them, right? And so all of a sudden the internet comes, and now you got these sixes all thrown everywhere, which we've never heard of before, right? I can understand why a tall girl would want a tall guy, because again, the goal was to get a guy who's taller than you. But I'm thinking you're 5'2", or you're barely 5, and you like, oh, I want a guy who's 6 feet, and I'm like, So I just think that that's quite interesting. You remember that too, Mistaken, right? It was just like the goal. You just wanted a guy who was taller than you, right?
Yeah, and that was the thing that I was going to say. Like the women around me, all of their men are at least 6 and above, but it's like what you said. I come from a tall family. I'm the runt of the family. I'm the shortest one. So, all of them needed, 6 feet and above, because when they put on heels, they still want the guy to be taller than them. So that was a thing. But for the most part, it is what you said. As long as the guy was taller than them, they were cool with that. It wasn't no minimum. Minimum they have to be 6 feet. No, if I'm 5'5", me dating somebody that's 5'9", I'm gonna be good, because if I put on 3-inch heels or whatever, he's still gonna be taller than me. So I'm good, but yeah, but I agree with what the guy was making a point in saying, that it's not that women in America, because I think a lot of times we tend to generalize and say most women or most men, when it's really our own personal experiences that we're pulling from, which is very different. Where he's saying, well, the women that I want don't want me, which means he has a particular type that he keeps going after and getting the same results. So that way he's generalizing and saying, well, women in America don't want me, so I need to leave the country to find somebody the type that I would like, that would accept me at the height that I am, versus him changing up maybe his type. if you keep going after women that like men that are 6 feet, and you keep getting the results of them not wanting you, then you're directing your energy in a wrong place, is what I'm saying. So I definitely agree with what the guy was saying, is that it's not, you're generalizing it to most people, when it's really just you keep shooting your shot at the same thing and getting the same results and getting upset.
I knew this guy that used to work for Adidas. He was like 5'6", but when he walked in the room, you'll swear he was 6'5", 6'6". Just the presence that he carried himself with. So I think sometimes people can compensate for some of the little, like that 6 foot thing. I think you could talk yourself into an extra foot and talk yourself out of a foot. You could be 6'5" and be a super goofy, and then she be like, no, he just ain't got the juice. And you could be 5'6" and figure out a way to come, you know what I'm saying, and present yourself in a way that's attractive. But yeah, you should, as a man, I absolutely don't think you should date women that don't want you. The amount of, I talk about this all the time, but the amount that she needs to look up to you to actually want to be with you, it has to exist for that relationship to work, because anything else is just going to be her looking down on you, and that's not necessarily a height thing. I'm talking about a mind frame thing. Yeah, I see a lot of people in real life that have real relationships at all sizes. So I don't think that there's no hope for people that's 5'6", 5'7", but or 5 feet or 4'11", or I even seen 2 people in the wheelchair get together. You just got to find the person that's attracted to you and be realistic about what you can get. And if you got to go overseas to
They
get
be
somebody, so
grinding on
be it.
each
Do what
other
you
in
need to
front of the
do.
camera too.
Yeah, they be having joystick sex. They just be, the little they with the little knobs. They be 69 spinning in circles and shit. Will I get canceled for saying that? I don't know.
So
I'm
uh,
weak. You said that you literally can get a whole foot based upon certain characteristics. That's crazy.
well, I totally agree with Marcus actually on this one. It's been a couple weeks since I saw Marcus, and it's been even more weeks since I've agreed with him. On this, I 100% agree. Basically, what I heard, and I hate talking down on other dudes, but what I heard from him was, I'm 5'7", and the chicks that I'm into aren't into me because of my height, and I would argue they're not into you because of some other stuff that you're missing. That would be my argument to him. You got to change your mindset. You have a pessimistic mindset. Number one, you're already going in with, man, I hope she like me because I'm only 5'7". You got to change your whole mindset. Be like, man, I hope this chick is worth the. I hope this lemon is worth the squeeze. I hope she's worth my time. I hope I'm not wasting my time. Look at that shit differently. You can't you like he's looking at it from such a point of view of a failed mentality, and women feel that shit. And if a chick gets that vibe off of you, you're starting. Not only are you starting at 5'7", you're starting at, bro. You're not confident enough to even fuck with me, and that's part of his problem, in my opinion. Now, I totally agree. If a chick ain't fucking with you, you shouldn't be hollering at her. Like man, go ahead to the next. But you got to grow yourself, grow something else about you that women will find attractive. Period. Like I walk around, y'all with this thing all hanging out. Man, I ain't no problem picking up chicks. What are we talking about? So this dude, he needs to drop that defeatist mindset and up his game somewhere else. Just my thought on it. And I think chicks are full of shit. I want somebody 6 foot. No, you just what you mean to say is, I want to be able to feel protected by my man. That's actually what you're saying when you say I want somebody 6 foot. I want to feel like he can protect me in any situation. And 6 foot sounds like a really good number.
So I'm
Now,
telling you this. It's about when girls talk about dudes with big dick energy. That's what we're talking about, not necessarily from a sexual standpoint. It's just that confidence. When a dude know he about that ish, like that confidence, that's what we're talking about when we're saying big dick energy. Even if they, because you got some dudes that ain't got a pot to piss in, but they come in with that energy that like they know they the ish. It's something that women are attracted to because like you said, it's that confidence, that feeling of, oh, okay, like he seems like he'll be able to hold that down. You know what I'm saying? Until you get to know that he ain't got a pot to piss, and then you're like, oh, okay, but it's just that initial coming in like, I own this room. I got my choice. I could pick from any of y'all who I want. Like that energy comes out, and women are attracted to that. So if you 5'5" and you come in with that kind of energy, of course there are some women who are very on that. I don't care how fine he is. I don't care. Da da da. I need him to be 6 feet. And if that's that kind of woman, like you said, it don't matter. I know I'm dope, but if that's just her standard and I don't meet that standard, I'm not, as a man who's confident in himself, I'm on to the next. Like I ain't even gonna focus on you because I know I can choose from, this chick, chick, and you're just one out of the many that I can choose from. So when a man comes in with that kind of energy and he's dope too, like you at that point, a girl will be like, well, I know he ain't 6 feet, but we're gonna renegotiate our standards ourselves. You ain't even gotta do nothing. You just
I,
gotta come with that energy, and it's good money.
I seen a post one time that was saying that a woman didn't want to be a dude first bad bitch. This her words. I don't want to be the dude first bad bitch. So what that meant was like, even if you do get the person at 5, because that be some of the other things. Like it might not be the height that's the issue. It might be how she feel you treat her at that height. Because now you overly possessive. Because you felt like you shot up out your league, and now she, you know what I'm saying. She feel like, come on, like don't be sweating me, like you know what I'm saying. The energy that comes from somebody that like Miss Taken was saying, that's confident that they'll be able to get somebody. They not really we not really pressed to run up behind every woman or the woman that you with, like just like a puppy dog salivating and trying to just fulfill her every desire and whim. You still maintain your self-respect about you. And I think that's what they meant when they were saying they don't want to be a dude first bad chick. It's the fawning over, the jealousy, not being able to handle her being taller than you, and you walking into some place with her and you feeling subconscious. Now she don't feel proud to have you on her arm because she could feel your insecurity. Like, we radiate things. I know people don't believe in energies and vibes, but you could tell when you walk in a room when people just got finished fighting without nobody telling you. You also could tell when somebody just got finished, hunching without nobody telling you, or even you might suspect it. Hopefully you don't smell it, but you sure enough could suspect it. Like, so you got to move with the energy that lets somebody know, like, man, I'm comfortable. That's the main thing. Just being comfortable with who you are, what you bring to the table, and not feeling like you being a little boy in no time. Like, you a man, you stand on yours. You went and got her. She feel like you deserve it. Now you need to make sure you feel like you deserve it and move with that energy.
I agree with you say, Marcus, but sometimes they just don't want to feel like everybody wants to know they got a catch, right? Men and women alike. And I think that's it, to add on what you're saying, is I agree with everything that you're saying, but add that part on to what you were saying.
You said that everybody got a catch. You saying?
I said everybody wants to feel like they got a catch.
Like, yeah. Facts.
So,
But you can make somebody feel like that. You can make somebody feel like that without actually being the prototypical catch.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Is your deciding factor as to whether you got a catch or not based on how you feel or how others perceive your situation? Because for me, okay, because
some people, so in general,
because I just heard was watching a thing on IG today that they were trying to prove a point and was saying that women want a man that other women want, right? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about that. And I'm like, well, it could be if there's a particular prototype that most women like, like if we're talking about maybe the 6 feet, attractive, nice build. Well, it's not necessarily that you're choosing that person because other women want that person. It's just that a lot of women like that prototype, right? But
not so I think that no. So there are some women who you don't want a person. So I know this for true, very true for me, and especially because I know one guy in particular. I probably told y'all this story before. He was in love with this girl, but he was like, I can't be with her because she just did not fit the image in which he felt. He wasn't feeling her physically, but he was in love with her. You know what I'm saying? And so it was almost like I can't be seen. It was like really weird. Like he couldn't be seen with her. Like this wasn't. So it's people who move like that.
And that's what I was gonna say. So I personally don't buy, like, okay, I'm gonna speak for me personally. I know other people are probably like this too, is that I don't not choose who I like based on what others are going to think about them. If I'm feeling that person and we got a vibe and we are able, I'm attracted to them for whatever reason, my attraction is, right? Mm-hmm. I'm attracted to them. I'm going to choose them. Mm-hmm. I don't care what Shan might think about him or what HD think about him on terms of the superficiality aspect of that person. Because if I'm looking at character and how he treats me, that's what I'm going to be attracted to. So he may not necessarily be a 10, so to speak. He could be that 5. He could be that 6. But for me, yeah, I see the physical aspect. I'm like, nah, I being realistic, I know he's not a 10, but he makes me feel like a 10.
Right. So all we're saying, so we know that there are people like you, but we're just saying that there are people who don't think that way. There are people who
so do you think most people think like me, or most people think the other way?
We're not saying most in anyone. We're just saying a great many of people, especially nowadays, in the market today, do think that way.
Okay. So all right. So I found out that. So, on the other show the other day on Tuesday, we was looking at a girl from the balloon pop show, and they was like, "Oh, she fat because you can't see her collarbone." Shout out to Shannon. I'm like, man, I don't give no fuck about no damn collarbone. I like hips, ass, and titties. Like I like shapely women, and you got to stand on what you like. Don't let nobody discourage you out of that. Because if everybody would have said she was fat, now I was just like, I like fat women. If that's the case. I love fat women. If that's fat, then I like fat. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't shame him out of it. He couldn't shame me out of it. Men should move.
And we both know that you should be like that, but we also know that there are people who allow their homies talk them out of somebody. They'll come like, "How would you think about her?" And the homies be like, you know. And then next thing you know, she getting ghosted. You know what I'm saying? Or he getting ghosted. So it's not. It is not right, obviously, because then you could have just ghosted your wife. You could have just ghosted your husband. But unfortunately, people do that.
My man Goldie was talking about this the other day. He said, the main thing that you should be attracted to is how she treats you. And I always, she could be a 5 to everybody else, but she treats you like a 10. You better move like Shallow Hal. That's a 10 to you, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you like turn her into a 10 in your mind at the end of the day, because you don't want to be chasing after somebody that don't want you. I think half the place is created from chasing after people that don't want them.
But we can't
think about it this way. Even parents do it to their kids.
Well, that's why I think so many people are single, because I think they're moving based on, like Shan, what you're talking about. They're picking partners based on the way that they look to other people, right? The way that they look to other people. Oh, we gotta look like a power couple, or we, match each other. You know what I'm saying? If I know I'm an 8, I need to be with at least an 8 or a 10. You know what I'm saying? So they're choosing based on the way other people will perceive them as a couple together, as opposed to like what Marcus and I was saying, choosing on the fact of this person makes me feel like a 10. Like I could, I'm not putting all my apples on the fact of how they look in terms to other people. It's more about how they look and make me feel as a person. Do they treat me right? Do they got good character? Do they have all of these things? And if they do, I'm going to see them as that 10 in my mind because they make me feel a certain way. And I think if more people move that way, I think you would see more people that are in relationships, that are in marriages.
I don't think that's going to make a difference, but not with that. But I think but it will get people together. But I wanted to make a point too. And sometimes it don't just go by peers. It's also family members that do that. You take a girl home to your mama, you in love with it, and your mama like, no. It could be merely just the way she look. No.
Hold on. I do gotta say this. It's gonna be real quick. Hey, how's it going? A wife school podcast. How you doing?
Hey everybody, how you guys doing?
Good. I wanted to make my point. I just wanted to say hello, acknowledge you real quick. This is real fast. Look, we don't need to go by what someone else thinks of the person that we're talking to, but we still got to be attracted to them. Do not settle for somebody just because they treat you good, but you have that reservation in your mind, like, yeah, you don't look.
You jumping the gun. Hold up, pause.
Hold on.
AP,
I know you did not just say that.
Wait, I want AP to go. I'm gonna play this video, and then AP's going first, okay? Because it's kind of like this. Okay.
Is love blind?
Are you saying that love can be pure love and looks don't matter?
I think that's our interpretation of love is blind.
Because
right?
Do I think that? No. If you're saying that, like, I could marry and not take into consideration appearance, do I think that's true? No. To me, love is blind. It's really just, it should be called like love in reverse or love out of order. To me, it's not saying any one thing is more important. It's like, can you fall in love with somebody first without seeing them? And then when you see them, can you actually maintain that connection? It's the same process. Yeah. It's obviously expedited, but you're just doing everything out of order. Yeah.
Now, when you say your thing, I want to keep in mind, do you think that you can continue connection if you fall in love, you feel like you fell in love with somebody online and then you met them and they look like a boogaloo?
Man, the only thing you invest in sight unseen is fixer upper. is fixer upper property. Don't you dare invest your too much energy into anybody you have not laid eyes on. That like because what will happen is, yeah, you gonna feel like God played a trick on you. God got jokes. I met this dope chick, ugly as fuck. Don't you do it. That's why people get so upset about being catfished. You meet this incredible person, this incredible personality, and then when you actually get to see him, it ain't the person that you met. Nah, bruh, don't you do it.
Don't you feel
I
There's
some
mean,
way sometimes? Like you made
catfishing
me
is,
mm-mm,
drive all the way
mm-mm,
down here for this. I'm just
but
like,
mm-mm.
catfishing is wrong. We should show who we are, but we're so insecure. We experience so much rejection, and sometimes you get it from your family. Sometimes, like she said, Ms. Shimamona, like your mother may compare, oh, you got good hair, or this is my light skinned child. So people do that by favoring other children over other ones and making them feel some type of way. So they grow up with this way, these grow up with these complexes. So they were like, well, if I just do this, maybe I'll be accepted. Just like the short man. Okay, well, you got brothers out here daggone breaking their legs and extending them just so that somebody would give them a chance when they could just be themselves. So if you want somebody to see all of you, Mr. AP, and you point to your belly, you should do the same thing to the other person. You should extend them the same courtesy because they're just
I
human too. They just probably weren't blessed in looks, but were blessed in everything else that you would need, right?
yeah. So I've tried a relationship to where the girl was super dope, but I wasn't 100% attracted. You know what I was doing? Looking at everything else.
I tried it too, AP.
Like it's just it's a tough ask. It's Have you ever read a book and then watched the movie, and the picture that you had in your mind from that book didn't match what you saw in the movie? It's the same type of concept. You catfish yourself out of that type of situation. You have this mental image of something that it really isn't. So I definitely caution against that. Like I say, always be your authentic self, right? But at the same time, when we're talking love is blind, sight unseen, don't invest your heart when you ain't seen the product.
Okay,
The,
well, that's smart, of course, but that's why you get to know the person you date for data, and get the information. You're like, wow, that guy's not too bad. I dated an older gentleman, and he was not my preference. Then just because somebody isn't your preference does not mean they're qualified to be a good candidate to be with you. And we, like I said, we have that mistaken notion that looks equals okay. It's a curated life. Social media, we always curating the perfect moment, curating the perfect view of ourselves when we looking crazy. Usually, most of the day. Okay, so it's like when I gave that guy a chance, it was like, wow, he's really nice. He's really generous. He's really considerate of me. So that that consideration, how he made me feel, that's the love right there. And even though he wasn't like super like talk about a 10 or whatever, um, that didn't matter to me because I knew that I had somebody that cared about me. I cared about them. They met my needs. They were very considerate, and I was like, well, I just couldn't wait to be in their presence again. And I grew to love them. I grew to love
I
them.
I truly believe this. I think that women, this is one of the, I think, a major difference between men and women. I think women really do have the ability to fall in love outside of that looks arena, and that person truly becomes a 10 in their eyes because of all of the other characteristics that person possesses. Whereas I think men can love a whole bunch of qualities about a woman, but if she doesn't look the part that he's attracted to, they're never really going to have a truly successful relationship, because the one thing I can pretty much assure is those wandering eyes. And then those wandering eyes turn into wandering words. Those wandering words turn into wandering actions, and I don't think that that's fair to do to anybody. So I think those are very distinct differences between men and women. I'm sorry, I'm monopolizing. I got
So I
two
mean,
other
so
women, but
when are you gonna stop? When are you gonna say what's beautiful, what's not beautiful? Okay, she's gonna age out. She's not gonna look good. Even though you get her, she's like, oh, cool. Now her boobs are sagging, her butt sagging, whatever she got going that made her. Okay, maybe the filler, that you thought she had the nice juicy lips. Oh, those are running out. You don't even know that because you're so blinded by wow the looks. Okay, cool. Everybody's gonna look bad. Gravity's going to set in. And if I'm not mistaken, salute to the late great Kevin Samuels. He said that for the sake of the treatment, men. Well, he said men go down in looks for the sake of being treated with respect and as a man.
our
So
value
what
goes
is
up
it?
in the
So,
sexual market value due
but
to a whole bunch of different other things. Like we can't just only talk about one part of his message
but
because
that's what you were
as
talking
we
about
rise
looks. So
on
I'm talking about the
as
looks aspect because you just said
for
even though the person is that, you're still going to have wondering eyes. So
so,
that's kind of crazy
so
to me.
there's two parts of this conversation. One part is, am I attracted to you, or am I going to pick you because you kind of have a dope personality? And for men, got to have you got to have both. Starting out, I'm not talking about we're 15, 20 years down the line. I'm talking about starting out. If you're going to give this person a chance, because maybe you work with them and they're cool, but they don't look like what you normally go for. You're never going to be fully satisfied as a dude. You just won't. She has to pass the eye test as well. That, and I'm not talking about society's uh, metric, that 1 to 10. What does she look attractive to you? And then the rest of the pieces fall in place. Now, the good news for guys is we could trade y'all ass in for a younger model because our pockets get bigger. I'm just joking. Guys don't do that. You don't treat women as disposable pieces of on a chessboard. Don't do it. But as you guys age, and just this is just talking to Kevin Samuels piece, your value does go down because gravity catches up with you. While it catches up with us, also we have other aspects that are getting broader, which is
So
why
you
I
hold on. You
go
mean to
ahead.
tell me the woman you chose, her value goes down because she looks different, and you chose her? Can you?
No,
Can
I
you?
think he's saying in general when in the
I'm
dating
talking about
market.
choosing the person. Like you've already been with them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh no,
so.
no. So I believe once I've chosen the person and once you're married, you should be married like that. That's the it. There like that's why you choose wisely up front. You choose somebody that fits not only what you see, but all of the other little characteristics that fit into the direction you see your life, and she has all of the little intangibles that you are looking for. So you choose wisely up front, so you don't have to worry about that shit on the back end. Like
Well,
that's what I'm not talking about. Just going out and getting rid of your woman. That's crazy talk. You built a home and a life with a woman. That's wild.
yeah,
Now
I
she
think
leave. That's a whole
the
different thing. That's a different
I
conversation.
think the statement of Kevin Samuel saying that, or people in general saying men will go down in looks, if all of the other intangibles is there, is because nothing hurts worse than see a really beautiful woman with a terrible attitude, right?
Woo.
Because if you look at her and she's attractive to you, but she ignores you or she's just not pleasant to be around, like that's the kind of stuff that makes even her beauty become ugly to you, right? And so, say for instance, a guy has a choice between a number of different women and they have a range of looks. You got really good looking, you got average, a little bit below average. Guys will tend to try to pick the best looking one at the beginning, but sometimes that might not be the best person for you. And you just have to understand that whether it's the best person or not, once you choose to marry this person, that's the person that you chose. Because guess what? Your looks fade, your mentality changes, you grow and you adapt. So the person that you married might not be the same version that they end up growing in to be, right? And oftentimes you hear a lot of people ending relationships because people grow, quote unquote, apart. We want different things and stuff like that. But all the things in the marriage vows covers all of that. For better, for worse, richer, for poor, sickness and health, all of the things, it covers everything in between. But because we don't view relationships, I think, in a proper way, or even marriage in a proper way, we're more likely to give credence to things that we shouldn't, to separate us instead of bringing us together. But I also think that personally, when we come to physical and uh the intangibles, I do think that you stand a better chance if you have a decent range in both, but there's still no guarantees. You can find a person that looks good to you, and then you still might want something else because you just have natural urges. So I think you just need to be mindful that, what's the purpose of your relationship? And oftentimes we try not to solely be like, hey, we're just separate, so we got different rules. There are some interlapping things where if she cheat and you cheat, there's a good chance that these relationships are going to end up stopping, right? Or if you don't treat this person with respect and you don't make them feel loved and cared and honored and stuff like that, it's going to end. So I think that we just need to stop selling ourselves that love from people is not conditional, because every time we try to make our relationships unconditional, you find out how conditional they really are.
I was gonna say, with the love is blind concept, I think it should happen in reverse. I think love should eventually make you become blind. And what I mean by that is that when you're a blind, right? Literally, if you're blind, what happened to your other senses? They become stronger, right? And so I think in a relationship, when you're just meeting somebody, your sense of sight is probably the strongest, right? At first. So you're looking at all of these things that are attractive and all of those kind of things at first. And I think at that stage is not really love, is the lust aspect of it. So because like the Wife School podcast was saying that eventually all of those things in regards to the superficial aspect are going to change. You can't beat gravity. You can't beat aging. Like you're not going to be able to change those things. But when love is blind at that part, at that aspect, that means you are now relying on the other senses within that person that keeps you attracted to them. So like I said, me and my husband, we've been together like almost 30 years, right? I don't look the same at 17 when he first saw me, and he don't look the same when he was 20, 21, or what, however age difference we have. We have like 4 year age difference. He don't look the same. Muscles ain't popping the same. My stomach ain't flat. My ain't up on my back like it used to be. But you let him tell it, I'm in his mind, I'm still that same 17, 18-year-old girl, because it was so many other things that he was attracted to beyond just the physical aspect. He was attracted to my mind. He was attracted to the fact that, like I said, I'm the adventurous one and he's not. So that was an area that helped pull him out of, his shell with certain things. He likes the fact that I challenge him, not in a like negative sense, but like that challenge to get him to be at an even greater level beyond what he, seeing himself, and vice versa. We're able to get those things from each other. So I'm still physically, because I have all of those other things that are being fulfilled, I'm still physically, very physically attracted, and he's still very physically attracted to me. So that aspect of it doesn't change. The love is blind part plays a big role at this stage in our marriage, because things are no longer the way on the physical aspect look the same or in the same place as they used to be. But so I think if we move in reverse, then I think we would have a better understanding of what love really is. We typically, when we're saying love is blind, we're only talking about the physical aspect.
But mistaken. If I do remember, you said that sometimes you still see him as that person.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The physical aspect. Now, physically, we see each other. We know we don't look the same at 17 and 18. But at times when I do think back, or I come across a picture or something like that, like in my mind, I'm like, damn, he's still that 20, 21-year old in terms of my physical attraction to him. That has never changed. But
So
Mhm.
physical
my
body absolutely
Oh,
has.
I thought when you said sometimes she said you said it was crazy because I still see him as that guy. Like he's still like when I look at him, I see that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's
so
what's
But
called
I've heard that before in
rekindling. You
older
gotta be,
people. Like they,
yeah.
it's like their mind stands still from that time,
Mhm.
from that younger age.
Yeah.
You know?
That's called
Yeah.
yeah,
rekindling, rekindling the flame.
Mhm.
so Miss Thing, I'm with you on that. The other things become more attractive, but back to this thickness thing. So I knew that after a baby, you get more hips and ass. So the size that I kind of like, I made sure you wasn't that size pre-baby. So post-baby, you could be at that size, and it
Well, I
That's a
would
lot of
say,
foresight.
it
well,
worked out. With
you
it
can think
worked
like
out
that, but you never know what's going to happen. Like in my
true.
case,
But I'm
like if
happy.
you look at
Happy with
all of the women, especially like looking at my mom, a lot of times men say they look at the mother to see how the mother looks to get an idea of the way the woman might look when she have kids. My mom had 4 kids. She doesn't look like she had 4 kids, but I ended up having a totally different pregnancy than my mom, and I ended up getting toxemia, all this stuff, and I ended up gaining massive weight in such a short period of
where
time.
you gained it
I gained it all over. Pictures, it was like my face was swollen, and my whole body was, because I also had pitting edema. So, like, I literally gained 10 pounds in one day because they had to measure my water retention, during my pregnancy. And I literally gained 10 pounds in one day. So I was 145 ish when I got pregnant. I was 220 and I didn't even go to full term. So I blew up. And I was a shock. Like after I had the baby, I was in shock of my own body after I had that baby, crying. Like there was definitely some depression going on after that because I was no longer myself. That wasn't anything that I could plan for or anticipate or knew was gonna happen during my pregnancy, and neither could he. You know what I'm saying? So we can plan for things. And I know my situation isn't normal, so to speak, but what if you end up, what if I was your wife at that time? You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, I'm planning. She thinking the right places that I want. I had the hips, I had the small waist, I had all of that. And when I was finished, I had all of that and more.
I'd like
so
to. I'd like to think that a man that an understanding man will understand that things happen.
Mhm.
And I'm going to say that even when you were going through that, your husband saw 17-year-old you, which goes more back to my point. Don't try to date someone you're not attracted to. You have to have that attraction because I do kind of agree that that image gets imprinted
Mhm.
onto your brain. And I do think that in some respect that is the same person you see for the rest of your life. Like even as she changes or he changes, that person you met, that that person you were attracted to is that same person years later that you see when you look at that person, if I make sense.
no, it makes
So so you don't want to, let's say, try to date somebody just because of their personality if you're not attracted to them, because what happens 10 years down the road when you see that same person you weren't really attracted to begin with, you still see that person.
I think we was talking about people you attracted to, but not the. So say we was on the spectrum. I don't think not attracted was on the scale. It was the most attracted to just attract. Like I agree. You got to be, especially for a man, you got to be able to. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be able to look at them and feel away. But
so I got a quick question to the just to everybody. Is there such thing as fluctuating attraction? That, say for instance, you initially look at this person, you're like, ooh, but then you might see them one time after you saw them as attractive and you saw things that wasn't attractive to you, and for that moment you was just like, ah, but then you see them another time and you're like, ooh. Like, have you guys ever experienced fluctuating attraction?
Only
I
after the club.
Sounds like being human to me, because
Absolutely.
everybody's not all 100% all time. So, you know what I'm saying? I might wake up to you, might have drool all over your face. Like, yeah, gonna this Negro stank, breath stank. You know what I'm saying? So it's a fluctuating thing. It's human. We're not like perfect. We're not on point all the time. And so like just if like that's your girl, like they said, I'm gonna stick beside them. Okay, let's clean it up. All right, but
Like when you mad at
it's
a person,
natural.
You terrible.
yeah,
Let me. I want to play this video real soon, and it's almost the same conversation. But go ahead. What was you saying, Tara?
I was gonna say it's true because, like in relationships, sometimes when you mad at a person, sometimes you can't even stand to hear them breathe. There's like no attraction, and you be like, God, this nigga get on my nerve, and vice versa. Like I know dudes be feeling the same way sometimes when they're like, God, I can't even stand the way she chew now. You know what I'm saying? So that attraction at times it depends on where you are in your feelings for that person in that moment. That you cannot be attracted to them. So absolutely, but then it changes one like I know guys be like, yo, women are crazy, but there are times I could be so mad at my husband, I'd be like, God, I can't stand that nigga. He get on my nerve. Like, man, what would life like? I'll fantasize at times like what life would be like if I was single. Damn, then but then it'll flip. He'll do something. I'll be like, damn, I love that nigga. Like it'll change at a moment's notice, and then I'm like, dang, see, now I see why I love him so much. I love, so it because women.
We about to wrap this up because I got a test in the morning.
Okay, go ahead.
He's able to come any other time. I mean, we can give him a link though. But let's do these super chats.
Marcus, you got your contacts in?
go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it right now, because
All right.
yeah.
Advanced perception, $5. A woman on IG actually made a video making a budget-friendly date. Combined drive-in movies, dollar store snacks, and affordable wine. Cost was $50. Advanced perception, $2. Don't chase Laura Winslow. Get you a Myra.
And
That's
so
a fact. That's a fact.
Because let's go into this video because it kind of hits on that. Okay.
Okay.
Everything was forced on me by my own women. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Accountability now.
Okay.
Accountability will tell you when you went up to that fire chick, did she have an expensive bag? Did she have on like fly clothes? Did she have her titties out? Did she have her butt out and stuff? Like she was peacocking for a certain type of man. Mm-hmm. So accountability will tell you that this certain type of woman is going after a certain type of man. What makes you want to go after the type of woman that wants that type of guy? You keep saying my women. Have you gone after the Velma, or are you always going after
Velma
the other?
Fire.
She's fire, but you get what I'm saying though, right? Everybody wants the Daphne.
You would never date
Everybody
Velma.
wants the Daphne, and Daphne wants the motherfucking Fred. Daphne wants Fred. Daphne wants Fred. But y'all will ignore Velma. Y'all will sit there and see Velma go after Daphne, and then when Daphne curves you because she wants Fred, be like, oh yeah, because it's the women that don't want me. And Velma's sitting there like, what the fuck? I'm right here.
Kara, I was programmed.
We were all programmed.
I watched Uncle. I watched TGIF every
It's the
Friday.
same thing. We were all programmed.
Uncle made me believe that you can get Laura. Just keep trying. You know what I'm saying? And the street
And the
said,
lesson you were
well,
supposed
you're
to
not
take
gonna get
from
her
that
until you
was
get your
go
money.
after Myra. Fuck Laura.
But
I
Yeah,
thought Myra looked better anyway.
Myra looked much better, and
Oh man, Myra is way finer. What?
that show program.
But that does happen too. I think that people are in love with a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it ain't gotta be. You be looking at the chick that you got. You're like, she look better than her though. What you running after her for? But I think it's sometimes people be wanting to capture like that challenge. It's like you know what I'm saying? That adrenaline. You know that you got that dopamine because you like, oh, she just what? You know, it's like it's a challenge. Maybe the other girl's not giving you that. Maybe she's not running. She's like easy love, like she's loving you. Like, wait a minute, we so toxic. This is ridiculous.
And I'm being honest, I think men are worse when it comes to that than women. I'm not saying women don't want a challenge, but it's something with men. If and I know y'all are probably going to get on me about this, but this is just observation that I've seen. I can't say that this is all men or most men. I'm gonna just say, just in my personal observations that I've seen come across, is that men like the challenge. Is something about breaking a woman down that men like. So if I am a woman that I have standards and I'm like, oh, I need this, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want, da da da. There's a man that don't necessarily meet that, but he has the confidence. He gonna try me. And then when he wins, for him in his mind, he won. Now it's about proving, it's about proving like you're not all what you think you are, right? And I'm not saying that has been my personal experience. I've seen it. It's something about a man having the need to, I don't know.
I don't even think it's about that. I think it's what I've seen, especially nowadays, is and it's almost in line with you. It's like okay,
you. That's
if
what it
a
is.
girl complies, she's like, oh, I like you too. But it's too easy. Like he want her to give him a challenge or something. Like it's just too easy. Like they call it, is she boring? Or and that girls do it too. Oh, he's too boring. Like and I'm like, well, what kind of roller coaster? It's like you don't want it because I don't know. But I know what you're talking about, mistaken. It's definitely
because you don't want it because you want somebody that don't want you.
People want people that don't want them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about this humbling aspect that man, like we see it in these spaces a lot of times. And I'm not saying you guys in particular do this, but we see in these spaces sometimes. Like me, I'm not one to like I'm honest about myself with other people. I know, like I said before, I don't look the same the way that I did when my husband met me, right? I am not a size 10, you know what I mean? But if I came on here and I spoke about like being confident about who I am, there you will see in the comments, because I see it all the time. Shanna say something about the type of dude that she looking for or want. Shanna's an attractive woman. She's aged very well. You know what I'm saying? She has an education. She has, you know what I'm saying? All of these things. If I'm like, yeah, I feel da da da, and I'm looking at this, you will see in the comments, men will literally be like, oh, she a 5 at best. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff is this.
They ain't never call me when they call me a 5. I was like,
oh, in the comments, like they will be like, oh, she a 5 at best. She or whatever. I mean, just in general, it's this need to try
misery
to
loves company.
Write a woman down, even if they know that they wouldn't even have a chance with me or a chance with Shan or a chance with some other woman. And if a woman knows her value and she's confident in who she is, and like, no, I'm just not gonna settle because I know I can do better. There will be men in the comments that be like, oh, she better take what she can get. Or they'll make comments like, Shan talking all of this stuff. Ain't she a single mom herself? Like, they will try to target certain things to be like, No, I gotta break you down
to try to date. You know
I
what I'm
gotta
saying?
humble you because you think too highly of yourself. And what is
You know
wrong?
what's so funny, Tara? I almost put this video on, and I wish I sent it to you. And the video was the guy. What's the light skinned guy? I'm gonna let y'all hear it since it's not uploaded. But I'm gonna let you hear it because it's kind of going what you said. But my question was this, and it reminds me of kind of what you're saying, but in a different kind of way. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the light skinned guy. Y'all know him. He's very popular. When I show y'all this video. And he sits on the sofa and he
Michael Ealy.
Yeah, that
he's like a New Yorker.
Michael Ealy.
Michael Ealy, Detective Carter.
Is that his name, Michael Ealy? Like the actor?
Yeah, he's the actor.
Wait a minute, not Michael Ealy.
Yeah, he was. There was a video with him sitting on the couch, and there was a woman on each side, if memory serves.
This guy right here.
Nigga gonna fuck you if you got a Michael Kors bag or if you got a Birkin.
No, that ain't him.
Okay, no, that's not him.
Or if you're in a Bentley. Those are not things being put forth by men as requirements.
That's Ish from the Joe Budden podcast.
That's what it is.
Y'all hear it though?
Men are attracted to a woman that's niggas are fuck that. Why them girls not white? All of these girls that they look for on TV, none of them ever got a fucking ring. Everybody trying to emulate and who everybody trying to be. None of them got a stable household. None of them got families with kids.
So my question is, isn't he in a relationship?
Yeah, he dating a white girl.
Right. And she's not married. So this is what I hate to hear, right?
Wow.
And I think that he's a great guy because a lot of times I like what he has to say, right? Technically, he's talking about women like the girl he is dating because she doesn't have a ring. She said, listen, y'all put two at the end of the day, when people, if you don't know him and you just saw his girl, all you see is that she's a single woman, right? She's never been married. She's just a woman without a ring. No, she's not a wife. She's not a mom. She's not anything. So everything that he's saying, he's talking about his girlfriend. Like, y'all, you keep looking at it because you know him. I'm saying take him. What if we didn't know him? She was just a girl on the street. Because if you're sitting here talking about mistaken, I got a man. What's the difference between her having a man and me having a man? So it's okay to say because you don't know my man. You understand what I'm saying? What's the difference?
Like 30 to 40 grand. Beat it. Y'all remember that from the Jay-Z? Never mind.
No.
So and the reasonable doubt, he was like, what's the difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. All right, anyway. So probably 10 to 15 years. That's probably the difference. If you had a man for 10 to 15 years, I don't think I'd say.
So if you have been in a long-term relationship, because we've all been, a lot of women are single because they've been in long-term relationships that did not end in marriage, right? At the end of the day, when you look at them women, you're not looking at them and you're not listening to their story. All you know is that broke up and y'all was together for 15 years. So what? He didn't marry you. You single. When you put on that checklist, you single. And if you got a kid by him, guess what you are? A single mom. On that checklist, you going into them numbers as a person your kids was born out of wedlock. So what's the difference?
I know that's the what everybody say in this space. I'm gonna keep it real. If you told me you was with your man for 15 years, y'all had one kid and y'all broke up, I don't think I'll hold it. That's me personally. I understand the space gonna hold it against you, but me personally, I'd be like, all right, because what I'd be looking for more than anything was a long term.
Right, but
would her dating value still be the same regardless?
In the space, no.
But Marcus,
yeah, the end result is still the same.
But mistaken, wait a minute. His rebuttal was why you don't got a ring. But he ain't even put a ring on a chick he been with for 15 years. So why she gotta have a ring, but your woman ain't even got a ring?
That's true.
Now I'm saying here, you say because his exact words was, why you not a wife? You ain't got no ring. You ain't got a ring. She ain't got a ring. If a ring is what solidifies the fact that y'all in a relationship like he's stating, then if his girl ain't even solid. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how do you use
to me, I think the opposite, the reverse, from what you were saying. If she was in a relationship for 2 years and not having a ring versus being in a relationship with a man for 15 years and not have a ring, to me, I think the 15-year relationship without a ring is worse than the 2-year relationship without the ring.
I'm talking about for if I was because we assuming that the relationship ended, right? And that she's dating again, specifically just for me. I understand everybody in the space say if you wasn't a wife and you had a kid, then that's not my specific metric for myself. In that scenario, if you was in a long-term relationship, it would have been better for me than say you got married after a year and then you kept having short relationships and got married and had a 1-year marriage and then got divorced. Because it wouldn't be so much for me that you got married and he qualified you as a wife. For me, and I gotta emphasize for me specifically, the thing that I would be more concerned with was you was able to work with somebody for a long period of time. That would be something different.
Right, but it's not even
But the
about
woman that was married in that same long period of time would be in a better position.
right. But the thing about it was this entire conversation is about him. He's sitting here dogging women for not doing the same thing that he's technically doing to his woman. She ain't a wife. You understand what I'm saying? He's saying it. We're not talking about you. We understand what you're thinking and everybody else is thinking. We talk about you're on a platform talking about women not being wives, but you got a woman at home for 15 years and she not a wife.
Can you replay the clip? Because I'm missing something here. Something is not connected.
Nigga gonna fuck you if you got a Michael Kors bag or if you got a Birkin. A nigga's gonna fuck you if you in a Honda or if you in a Bentley. Those are not things being put forth by men as requirements. That's y'all competing with each other.
I don't think you're being honest. Men are attracted to a woman that's
niggas are fuck that. Why them girls not white? All of these girls that they look for on TV, none of them ever got a fucking ring. Everybody trying to emulate and who everybody trying to be. None of them got a stable household. None of them got families with kids and a man, and they out in Dubai as a couple. These same chicks that everybody trying to be in Dubai by their motherfucking self with the sheiks get pissing on them for 25 grand.
Okay, yeah, I think you took that out of context.
No, because he says this all the time. You know that man get on people about being a wife all the time.
I never heard him because I only seen him on Joe Budden's podcast. I ain't even ever seen the other podcast. But the reason I say I think it was taken out of context is.
So the only part I understand what he's saying about the Birkin bag. I agree with that.
No, not that part. Not that part.
The stuff about being alone, I agree with
being
that.
alone. That's the part.
He should have never mentioned wife. Put wife on a pedestal because he has a woman and he hasn't even wiped her. You understand what I'm saying? So we didn't even know who he was. We just met this woman on the street. She, by law, is a single woman. If she got kids by him, she is a single mother. And she contributes to the 70% of kids who are born out of wedlock.
This is true. But I think the purpose of what he was saying was it's a difference between what men are attracted to versus what, and that's the purpose of the video. What he was saying is that, hey, these attractive women that's
not my argument. That was
I know that's not your argument.
I don't want you to go by the video. That's not what I'm saying. I'm going by
why bring up the video.
We were mistaken was talking about how people be in the chat. The only reason I brought that up was talking about how people be in the chat and they like to bring you down, right? And so that's when I came back and it had nothing to do. I didn't want to go all the way into the video. So sorry.
Gotcha.
I started looking at the pictures to figure out because I never seen it. I just know I heard you say he was dating like
what are you talking about? The girl?
Me and Joe Buttons like the same type of shape because when I typed in Ish from Joe Buttons, all the girls Ish from Joe Buttons. That's how I know him. And when I typed it in for his girlfriend, all Joe Buttons' ex-girlfriends came up, and they would have called all of them fat, but they always bodied up as far as I'm concerned. Y'all see exes, but we got the same taste as far as
No, so he said, look, it is a reason, and the reason why I say that is because I think that you guys think so when you guys put people in a box, right? And you talk about, oh, she's single. It doesn't matter if she has a boyfriend or not. Most of the time, y'all don't even know if the girl got a man or not. You know what I'm saying? All you know is she is not married. When we're talking on these platforms and a woman come up, that woman can have a man who live with her. All y'all were like, are you single? Are you a single mama? Y'all don't even care about none of that. Y'all put her in a category and be like, to go, right? For the most part. But what I'm saying is there are podcasters who are putting women in the same situation that they like to talk about. You understand? And that's all I'm saying. You're contradicting yourself because you sit here and say, oh, these women, da 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 da. But meanwhile, you got a woman at home that you're doing the exact same thing to that you claim you love.
I mean, I think you have a valid point, but I also think that a person who isn't doing what you're saying should be done can also point out issues too. So if you see a person that is fat, right? Like me.
Mm-hmm.
So say for instance, I advocate that people try to just make working out a lifestyle. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you can watch TV every day, you can play video games every day, you can do something in moderation consistently, to add to your lifestyle, right? And they'd be like, well, what does the fat guy know? Because he's fat. I said, well, the fat guy has experience and he's looked at other people and looked at other people's results and learned from these people and said, hey, listen, I might not have these particular results, but I can still call a spade, and I can still point out wisdom and stuff like that I've seen other people, kind of point out to folks. So, I agree. You have a better chance of people wanting to listen to you when you are the thing that you're advocating for. But the facts are still the facts.
Well, the reason why I brought that up is because I think that what happens is a lot of men like to throw up black women aren't married. And a lot of black women are in that. And I know he does not dating a black woman, but a lot of women are in that type of situation. And so it leaves them vulnerable to be judged in so many ways. And in reality, they just sticking by their man and he just ain't married them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
So in essence, that's not their man.
Well, no,
that's
the
not
truth
what Marcus
is
said.
that on the woman or is that on the man? Like a lot of times I see like men,
Well, the
like
woman gets the
especially in
value for that.
right. Well, no, what I'm saying is in the chat, I'll hear a lot of men say, well, the reason if she's not a wife is because he don't see you as a wife or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why he ain't marrying you, whatever. But I think in that same respect, women have to be accountable and hold some ownership to that, because if your expectation is to be a wife and you're in a 15-year relationship and you're still not a wife, at that point I don't think it's on a man, I think it's on a woman. Because if your goal is to be a wife, and like you said, the longer I stay in this relationship, the less value I'm going to have because I'm getting older and older and still have not obtained my goal of becoming wife status, then when you hit that 2-year mark and you still haven't even received a ring at that point, to me, I think you have to take ownership as a woman and say, you know what, maybe as much as I love him, I see that he's not moving on the same trajectory or on the same, basis in which I want to move. So I have to take ownership and take control of that situation and say, I'm out. Like I see that you're not in the space that I want to be. I want to be married. I don't want to stay pigeonholed in this situation when I have other options to be somebody else's wife.
So I get that. But there are women, like his girl may not be like, okay, we don't have to get married. But even if she says she doesn't want to get married and she's with him, she's still in society. People are going to still judge her, even though that they don't know the decisions that she's made. Because a lot of women are, it's very rare that you're seeing a person. I kid you not. Most people are not alone. Let's just be honest. Even the women that y'all be taking on dates, she ain't by herself. She probably ain't with, you know what I'm saying? It's very rare that you see an attractive person who's alone. They messing with somebody.
Have you ever been alone?
I have.
Okay,
I take
I'm just gonna.
and I only be alone. So alone means I
You're
take time.
not in a committed relationship alone.
I take time to heal from relationship to relationship. Because my relationships just be drawn out too long. So I take time to heal. But not everybody's like that. Some people jump from one relationship to another relationship.
And I think there's a difference between being alone and dating. And I think a lot of times women who aren't in relationships, they may not necessarily be in a committed relationship,
but
but
they
they
saw
out there in them streets. They're still dating. They're
they
still
got
meeting
somebody
guys.
consistently that they
Yeah.
seeing on a consistent basis.
Mhm.
So we kind of jumped subjects. So I'm gonna try to work
Oh, sorry.
forward. No,
Something that was
no.
taken here brought up, and I wanted to just address that. But go ahead.
Um, so just I want to work backwards back to the Myra conversation. I agree with what you do, Shan, in regards from relation to relationship. You take the time for yourself to heal from the previous relationship before moving on, and I think everybody needs to adopt a strategy very similarly. Um, in regard to the podcast, I agree with HD. I find it to be very similar to a person, let's just say, is has a couple divorces and is talking about successful marriages. Speaking from experience, he or she can say, these are things that I've learned. These are some of the takeaways, and they have something to truly offer the conversation. Although I do see your point, Shan, in regards to, you're talking about this, and you're not even trying to live it when you should be. Um, Now back to the Laura versus Myra piece. There are several takeaways from that. One of the takeaways is how much is or how much of you changing yourself the way Steve changed himself into Stefan is true growth, and how much of that is you trying to accommodate a woman? Because I believe that you should always be growing and trying to improve yourself to become the best version of yourself. Now, on the other hand, you don't do that for a person, you do it for yourself. On the second part of that is you need to be able to identify when there's something right in front of you and be where you're wanted, which takes me back to my very original point. Steve wasn't at that time attracted to Myra. And if you're not attracted to somebody, it is not a good idea to be in a relationship with that person, which is one of the issues that we run into that I see in these spaces. We got guys talking about trying how women need to move, and they don't even necessarily qualify for those women. And then there are women talking about how guys need to move, and they don't necessarily qualify for the guys that they want. It's insane to me. So I just think that it's all about improving yourself, finding someone who loves you, that you love, that you're attracted to, that's attracted to you, and finding a way to make it work. So I just wanted to get all of that in short form because I know it's about time to
I want to
shut
correct.
it down.
I want to correct something that you said real fast, because
Okay.
this is also a problem in the dating market. I don't think that Steve wasn't attracted to Myra. I think that he was attracted to Myra. The problem with Steve was his heart was already taken. And so you'll find that a lot of people are dating people whose their hearts are already taken, and you're trying to come into a situation and you don't even realize he already in love with her or she already in love with him, and so you're just a filler because they can't have who they really really want, and they hurting your feelings in the process, and a lot of that go on too
That's
in
a
these
good
streets.
point.
And
That's a very
then
good point.
back off of that, what also happens is that when that person decides to move on, and I think, I don't know if women, if this is just a women thing or men do that too, but after you're used to having a guy following all along because you have the upper hand in that situation, you can have him at any time you want, where it's like, all right, if I decide to say
You
yes,
take
I
them
know
for
I got
granted.
right. Then when they move on, because then when he got with Myra, then you start seeing Laura get jealous.
That
So That's
Like, who is
another
That's
she?
thing
true.
that happens too. Is
But
that when
you remember he didn't really see Laura for, or not Laura, Myra for what she was until they did that masquerade ball, and she took off like of course we're talking sitcom here, but she was more dolled up, and he was like, how did he say it? Holy mama!
mm-hmm.
And when he got that opportunity, that's when his eyes became open. But I would argue that was when she became a more presentable version of herself to him. So I think we lose that we just don't work to become the best version of ourselves, and we say things like, you got to accept me for who I am. Yeah, but who you are needs improvement, but I don't want you to improve it for me.
But see, think
Improve
about
it for
it.
you.
But see, Myra liked him for who he who he
Ooh,
is.
you're
She
you're
saw
right.
she saw his true who he was and appreciated him as that. But
And
he couldn't see that in her. He had to wait until she became, like you said, something else in order to get his attention. So I think that kind of speaks to a little bit of what we've been talking about the whole night. Men see the physical aspect. So once Myra became that physical representation of what he's, I guess, considered on a Laura level, he began to entertain and was attracted to, while all the while she was looking at the essence of who he was. Myra was looking at
Ooh,
the essence of who Steve was and was attracted to that.
that's a
And
good
so
point.
it's like you
and
end
it's
up
so
not dating the people you need to because you're looking at the wrong stuff.
yeah,
That's a
because they
good
were
point.
mad. They were a
Good
match.
point.
They were truly compatible. Let's do these super chats real fast.
Looking good, Shan. I like Megan good. She cool type.
Mhm.
Appreciate you, Sir Shy.
And he gonna dip and then super chat.
Well, salute to you too, Harrison Davis.
That's hilarious. Anybody else have anything to contribute, y'all? Y'all, let's
Moral of the story: choose Myra and not Laura.
choose
That's
Simple as that.
that's a
So
fact.
moral of the story, choose Urkel and not Stefan.
the more of the story is
Man,
choose who is compatible to you, right? Who choose because they just fit. You balance. Everybody want to bet outside what fits. Choose what's right for you.
did you see when he finally got Laura? They together now, right? Laura and Urkel.
I don't
I
Are they
know.
think they
dating?
I think they ended the show where Urkel figured out a
No, I
way
mean
to
in real
separate.
life.
Oh,
In
I
real
don't
life.
know.
Because I seen a post that was like when you want her, and then it was like when she wants you. That shit
Oh,
was bad.
Oh, when she was
that's the
big, like she
actor
was
though.
bigger.
That's the fun because he's the actor. Like that's how you really look. That's not Urkel. That's not
Man,
Urkel.
you know what? I just want to say something real quick. Mr. Logic, I don't know if you guys remember Mr. Logic.
Mhm.
That guy never fails. Because right now I'm sitting out of his logic never fails. Right now I'm sitting outside of a quick trip, and I'm watching the women walk inside. Car seats in the back. This one woman just had a damn McDonald's a little one of those, either the fry or the nugget thing fall out the back seat. And I want to laugh. His logic never fails. It just reminds me of some of the things that he said. You're like, if you
I saw
want,
the Elijah not too long ago. I'm gonna reach back out to him.
it's
Oh wait, what
hilarious.
AP, what did he say about the quick trip though?
No, when he talked about, you go to a gas station by the hood, and you always see chicks with the long nails and the long eyelashes, and he talks about how
They
they're
be
hyenas.
they be like this. Like I was like, I saw this girl, her eyelashes was so long and thick. I was like, your lids, like they fighting for dear life just to stay up. Like what is? Why do you think that that's okay and attractive? Like
Your eyelids are mad strong right now.
who told you that that was a try? What dude is like pumping you up with these?
Somebody
Like
got muscular eyelids is a problem.
I'm sorry. That's why I was laughing. Like, it's one thing. It's something if it happens once, but it's been very similar 3 different times. And the one girl actually came out with a slushy, and I was like, I'm through. I'm through.
It's like the McDonald's. It's the fast food workers start like pack. Like you gotta have the lashes, gotta be thick, and the nails gotta be super long. When you type the number like this, and you type it like this.
I looked up Urkel wife or his girlfriend now. It's definitely not Laura. He did much worse than Laura.
So he got married.
Yeah. She looked like Caitlin Clark.
Some people, she got a good job though.
Okay. He's married to a Caucasian woman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That looks like Caitlin Clark. Why he couldn't get Topanga?
She does.
Buddy, what? Back in the day, when I tell you I had the biggest crush on her, and as she got older, she only got finer too.
What does this look like?
Topanga.
Can y'all see this? It says Groupon a massage. I was like, what kind of massage is that? And then I had to zoom in as a massage.
Good night.
Good night. Groupon did it. It's Groupon. Oh, all right, you guys. Thank y'all pray for me and my test tomorrow.
Good luck. Good luck.
What is your test on?
I said pray.
What is your test?
I said pray for me.
What test?
Real estate.
Oh, okay.
So I can be selling y'all houses and stuff with my part-time job, honey, because I'm about to retire in 6 years. I'm so silly. All right, y'all. Good night, sweetheart.
Good night.
To know that